May we start with the roll call, please?
Councilmember Dennison,
Dennison here.
Rhodes,
Here.
Lombardo,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Schooler,
Here.
and Mayor Abel's excused tonight.
Okay, if everybody will stand and join me in the pledge. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have an invocation this evening?
We do not.
Thank you. And do we have any presentations, introductions, or recognitions?
Yes, we do have a couple this evening.
Well, Mayor Pro Tem Council, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our newest employee, Faith Nicholson. Just a little bit about Faith. Faith's experience and deep roots in the high desert made her an excellent fit for this position. A high school, Yucca Valley High School graduate, so homegrown here in town. Young family, husband and daughter, 7 years old, I believe, right? Yeah, 7 years old. And, you know, it is more than a job for Faith. Faith and her own family has experienced homelessness. The position that Faith is performing for the town is Community Engagement and Homeless Service Coordinator. And again, it's more than just a job. Faith has experienced, you know, within her family, so there's a passion there that is going to be a complete benefit to the town and its residents. And, you know, as I'm introducing her as a new employee, not really, in her earlier years, I think, Faith was an employee with the town, an excellent employee of the town at our pool. I asked her this morning, there was a few positions, and hopefully I didn't miss them all, as a lifeguard, WSI, lead lifeguard, and assistant aquatics manager. And so she's got a history with the town as an excellent employee. She has, over the last 4 years, worked in community mental health as an outreach coordinator, so she fits the position perfectly for the needs of the town and knows the Morongo Basin. She will be addressing homelessness while helping to maintain a safe and welcoming public space within our community. And so please join me in welcoming Faith to the town.
Well, welcome back, Faith. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, just that I am really honored to be able to serve my community, especially in this capacity. I've received a lot of support and a lot of really positive feedback. So I'm really excited to see where this grows, and I'm excited to see Yucca moving in this direction. So. And I'm excited that I get to be the one to do it. I'm very honored.
Very good. Well, thank you. Welcome back.
We have one more this evening. If I could ask Michaela to join me up front, please. Mayor and Council, it's always a pleasure to stand before you and introduce new members of the team. This evening, I'd like to introduce Michaela Crippen. Michaela is one of the newer members at the Yucca Valley Animal Shelter. Michaela lives in 29 Palms, joined the town's team on June 19th as a part-time kennel technician. A part-time kennel technician can be asked to do one of many, many different things, whether it's cleaning kennels, helping take care of the animals, identifying if there's any potential medical needs for the animals that are at the shelter, or helping residents identify animals that they're considering for adoption. So they get their hands involved in everything. They're a critical part of how our shelter provides services to the community. The one thing that I wanted to note this evening, and I don't do this often, is read from applications, but I want to list the objective that she identified when she applied for the town with the job: to help animals get adopted into a loving forever home and to provide excellent care. That describes the mission perfectly, and you couldn't ask for a better perspective from any employee working in animal care and control. With that, it's a pleasure to introduce Michaela to the council and the community this evening.
Welcome, Michaela.
It's a pleasure to be here and meet you all.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michaela, and welcome to the animal shelter team and the town team. Okay, we will ask for an approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion? Motion from Councilmember Lombardo,
And Dennison will second.
and Dennison seconds.
Councilmember Dennison,
Dennison, yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Lombardo,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Schooler.
Yes. We go to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are routine matters or formal documents covering previous town council instruction. Items are enacted by one motion and a second without separate discussion unless a member of the town council or town staff requests dialogue on a specific item at the beginning of the meeting. Requests for public comment on the consent agenda items should be filed with the town clerk. Do we have any requests?
We do have a request to speak on item number 5 from Aaron Gatlin.
Okay, thank you. Then I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items 2 through 13, excluding item number 5.
I'll move that forward. Dennison will second as presented.
Councilmember Dennison,
Dennison, yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Lombardo,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Schooler.
Yes, now we'll move to item number 5. Can we get a staff report on that, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. The item in front of you this evening is for the town council to give support, utilizing our logo and town name as support in legislation for reform for tort liability. Tort liability claims have hit a lot, most cities and municipalities, counties within the state of California with, some may say, in excess of a limit. And those limits are just being asked to be looked at and reformed, to have some limits there to protect the overall system. So that the item in front of you, again, is just to show support with organizations pushing that tort reform.
Okay, thank you. Is there any public comment on this?
Hi, my name is Erin Gatlin. I oppose approval of this particular item. I don't think should be voted on in a consent calendar because there are inherent trade-offs in this kind of movement, or this kind of the letter that it's asking you to be signed on to in that coalition, and I think we should allow for a presentation and opportunity for discussion before it is considered by a single vote, because there are trade-offs for both the community and residents. I'm also not clear why Yucca Valley would sign on to support this coalition when the town insurer is in a completely different risk pool. So whatever this vote, however this vote is resolved, it doesn't actually affect us at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Anybody online? No? Council members, any comments, input? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion on item number 5.
I know the importance of liability does affect the town, even though it's in a larger area, because when things happen in town, they always look to the other areas. Oh, what did they get for, that kind of incident and stuff? And so I think it's important to have some kind of reasonable constraints on it. And I think that litigious proceedings have just expanded and caused great harm to the municipalities in the excessive amounts of of awards that have been given, and so I think they need to have some kind of look at least to make sure that the parameters are reasonable. So I don't see it as a big problem.
Okay, any other council comments?
No.
A motion?
Dennison will move the item.
And we're looking for a second.
I will second.
Droz, second.
Councilmember Dennison,
Dennison, yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Lombardo,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Schooler.
Yes. Okay, moving along to item number 14, the Yucca Valley Arc Quarterly Project Update. We get a staff report, please.
Good evening, Council. The item before you tonight is the Yucca Valley Aquatic Recreation Center Quarterly Project Update. The recommendation before you tonight is that the Town Council receive and file the quarterly project update. With us online, we have Jen Wagner from Dahlen. Dahlen is the town project managers on this project, so she will be giving presentation on the status of the project. Jen?
Thanks, Alex. All right. So hello and good evening. It's great to be here again. My name is Jen Wagner, and I am the project manager with Dahlen, working in collaboration with the town of Yucca Valley on the Yucca Valley Aquatic and Recreation Center. And together we have been overseeing the project alongside SafeWork, the construction manager, HMC Architects, the architect of record, and RC Construction, who is your general contractor. And it is my pleasure to present the 8th quarterly update to the town. Excuse me. This update covers construction progress from April through the end of June. And as always, the goal is to provide a high-level overview of where the project stands and what has been accomplished in the past few months and what's coming next. So, as many of you know, the facility will provide the community with a recreation pool, water slide, splash play area, gymnasium, locker room facilities, multi-purpose room, and outdoor gathering spaces. So from April through June, construction continued to make significant progress, both inside and out of the building. One item that has received a lot of attention is the natatorium pool deck. The contractor identified a deck slope issue that is currently being addressed. And while that work has the potential to impact the overall schedule, construction activities have continued across the rest of the site. If you've driven by recently, you've probably noticed the building is starting to look much more complete. On the exterior, concrete paving has begun in the north parking lot. The GFRC, you're going to be hearing me say that quite a bit tonight. This is glass fiber reinforced concrete panels. Those are being installed on the exterior of the building. Storefront and curtain wall glazing has been installed. That's all the glass that you see on the exterior and also on the interior. Exterior plaster has progressed with the brown and color coats being completed on certain areas of the building. And the northeast parking lot solar canopy has also been erected. Inside the building, we've continued making great progress as the project moves further into the finishes phase. Ceiling framing and ceiling grid installation has been completed. Rough-in work for electrical, HVAC, lighting, data, fire alarm systems also continues throughout the building. Restroom wall tile has been completed, and casework, which is all of the cabinetry, has also been installed in many areas of the building. Looking ahead at some of the upcoming activities, over the next few months, the project team will continue focusing on completing both the exterior site work and interior finishes. Some of the major activities include completing the remaining concrete paving around the site, continuing installation of those GFRC exterior panels, completing the natatorium pool deck pours, installing flooring throughout the building, installing the site irrigation system, and once construction reaches the appropriate stage, we'll start filling the pools. And you can move on to the next slide. So here we have some recent construction photos. This first one, we're looking at the north parking lot where crews are placing the concrete paving while the work continues around the new solar canopy. Next. This is the south elevation, so this is what you can see from the main road there. You can see those GFRC panels being installed on the exterior. Next. And here we're inside the natatorium looking up at the soffit framing. This gives you a good idea of just how much work is happening on the interior. Next. This is in the lobby, and we're seeing the installed storefront glazing. To the right on the exterior, that is the curtain wall system. Next. And next, this photo shows the wall tile installation in the lobby. Next. And finally, we can see the tile installation in the men's locker room. Next. And here we'll play our time lapse. And this will take us all the way to the very beginning of construction. Said this before, it was a lot of moving dirt in the very beginning. Starting to see those slab pours, the rebar sticking out for all of the block. And then the what's unfortunate about the exterior time lapse is we're not seeing what's happening on the interior of the building. So towards the end of this, we'll start to see those GFRC panels start to go up. But again, a lot of work is happening on the interior of the building as well. Those are those GFRC panels. And that's where we end today. Well, today, end of June.
Nice.
So again, slabs, block walls are going up. Gymnasium is complete. We're stuck on that far left. That's over at the natatorium. All the steel erection, the roof deck, all the scaffolding for the exterior finishes. That includes all of the waterproofing, insulation in areas. And then they'll start installing the clipping mechanism for the GFRC panels. Awesome. Thank you. So, and lastly, we have some project stats on contracts, schedules, and overall construction progress. So overall, the project continues to make steady progress, and this quarter included several visible milestones. We've completed installation of the exterior curtain walls, the interior storefront systems, and the structural steel for the north parking lot solar canopy. Looking ahead, the project team will continue focusing on interior finishes, the remaining exterior concrete paving, continued installation of the GFRC panels, completion of the natatorium pool deck pours, and we've even started to order some furniture. The big picture at the end of this quarter, officially, we are 89% complete and have only 78 calendar days remaining for project completion. And before I sign off, one question we've been hearing more frequently is what happens once construction is complete, because we have been focusing on the end of construction date. Substantial completion of construction is really just one milestone in the overall closeout process. After the contractor finishes the work, there are still several important steps before the facility can welcome the public. Those activities include inspections by the various agencies having jurisdiction, completion of any remaining open punch list items, testing and commissioning of the building systems, staff training, operational setup, and final acceptance by the town. So once those activities are complete and the town determines the facility is ready for operations, the town can plan for such events such as ribbon cutting and opening to the public. And that is all that I have for you.
Council, that concludes staff report, and we'll be happy to answer any questions following public comments.
Well, thank you, Alex, and thank you, Jen. Good report. It's exciting, 89% complete. I think, those steps after completion are going to be a little hard for all of us because it's such a fantastic facility. I had an opportunity to tour it with the town manager a couple of weeks ago, and frankly, I asked him if I could have my old job back as the community services director. It looks like such a nice facility. But with that, we'll open it up for public comment. Anybody have any comment on this? Please step to the microphone, give us your name and city of residence, and you have 3 minutes.
Well, just real quick, what about the lighting? My name is Diane Hartle. My husband Terry and I have lived up here in Yucca Valley for 41 years. And we live on Desert Gold up in Juniper Terrace. And our backyard overlooks Yucca Valley. And over the years, the lights have become quite white, not like how they used to be, and quite bright. And I'm just curious about what the lighting's going to look like. Then I have other later on about something else, but that was my question. What are the lights going to be like? Hopefully they shine their lumens down and not up.
The design of the lighting follow the town of Yucca Valley night sky ordinance. So it is,
great.
yes, it is.
Okay, because I'm newly involved with the MDLT, and I'm the night sky girl, so I'm going to be attending more meetings. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Okay, we'll bring it back to the council. Who wants to start?
I have one question.
Councilmember Droz?
Originally, I believe the completion date was the fall, and then it was moved forward, correct, to sometime in the summer, and now it's back in the fall. So we're really back to the original completion date. But what does it really like ribbon cutting time, opening time? Is that probably November, December, or what do we think at this point?
Yeah, sorry. That's all depend at the actual completion of the project. At this point of time, there is some hurdles that we are trying to get over. When we get a precise, we'll let you know. But at this point of time, we're looking at, it's going to be like what Jen have mentioned. Not only that is the finish of the project, but there is a punch item list that is need to be, they have to meet, and then also the commissioning. A lot of lighting, inside, the pool equipment, the HVAC, the systems that as we install, all that have to be commissioning, making sure that's working right. So it all depend at when we will finish with the project completely. So at this point of time, no clear, but we will inform you when we have that information.
And as the project moves along closer to completion each week, each month, we start to get a better picture of what that end date looks like. We'll continue to communicate as much detail as we can to the council and the community as the project nears completion.
Thank you.
good. And that period also includes, in fact, now probably planning for the operation, what staffing is going to be needed and training and so forth.
So Frank and his community services team have been working on that for quite some time. And the construction part of the team and the operations side of the team keep that communication door open all the time. Frank, any comments you'd like to make?
No, I think the community and the council obviously is waiting for that opening date. Where we're, in constant contact with the construction folks. Planning, as Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, hiring staff, setting up the programs, figuring out the times of operation. And so we're working toward that to be flexible, probably after the holidays, we're thinking, the schedule is moving towards the holiday timeframe of the year. So maybe a New Year's resolution to buy a membership, for 2027.
Okay, thank you. Any other council comments? If not, well, that's a receive and file, so. Okay, we'll move on to item number 15, Trepepi Smith Communication Services, Professional Services Agreement. May we get a staff report, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. The item in front of you this evening is to approve a multi-year professional services agreement with Trepepi Smith for general and special communication services through June 30, 2028, for an amount of $8,550 monthly retainer, and authorize the town manager to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement for the same. Just by way of a little background, the town, engages regularly with the public in a variety of public information outreach, including local and regional distribution of press releases, social media, website presence, e-newsletter, and the like, and occasionally printed material. Since October 2021, we've used Trepepi Smith to do these services, and we're looking this evening to continue that. They serve as an extension of staff to communicate all the important work that the town is doing, both from a policy and an operational perspective. So they really are an extension of staff. This evening, we also have Alexis here as a representative of Trepepi Smith to just talk briefly about what they do for the town. So, Alexis?
Thank you so much, Frank. Couldn't have teed it up better. Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. I'm just going to expand on that background a little bit. Alexis Gillum, I'm a director with Trepepi Smith. More importantly, I'm your account manager. Next slide, please. And I just want to put some faces to that phantom communications arm, is what we like to refer to it as, of your town manager's office, supporting your initiatives and programs. This is your communications team with Trepepi Smith. Along with myself, you have Madeline Wilson, who's a business analyst here as a project manager. Erica Chandler and Talia James are your content support and creators, and they are junior business analysts. Our work with the town goes beyond just the social media and newsletters that you are all too familiar with. But we really look at partnering and communicating out the town's priorities, celebrating those community successes, keeping the residents informed and engaged of the programs and services, and providing that strategic communication support as needed. Ultimately, our role is building trust, and through that, the consistent and proactive communication. Next slide, please. And so I'm going to touch on some of those successes again very briefly. This year, and through the term of the agreement, one of our biggest initiatives has been supporting Yucca Valley's 35th anniversary, such an exciting milestone. And rather than focusing on just a single event, we've worked with staff to develop a year-long campaign that celebrates the town's history, recognizes the people, places, and milestones that have shaped your community. That work has included developing the brand itself, creating the content, writing the press releases, videos, all that goes into it to keep the campaign active throughout the year. We also support the Parks and Recreation Department on a regular basis, promoting the programs and events and the marketing materials, coordinating with staff, making sure residents know what's happening in the community and how they can participate in that. And across all of our work, really the goal is simple, creating the consistent communication to support the town staff so residents can share in that throughout what's happening in the town of Yucca Valley. We've seen great engagement, especially with your Throwback Thursdays. Everyone loves to see those milestones and where the town was. We're featuring here the trend that Yucca participated in, which was What Were You Like in the 90s, in which we collected a lot of resident photos of what the town of Yucca was like in the 90s. So just wanted to highlight that there. Next slide, please. During the holiday season, we help promote the community events. We share the information and highlight photos afterwards so residents can see those hopefully core memories that were made throughout those events. And we also support the High Desert Nature Museum by promoting the exhibits, educational programs and special events, working closely with your museum staff to keep the community informed and encourage participation. It's such a great resource to have there in your community. Next slide, please. Also like to highlight the town's annual State of the Town, which is always a favorite of ours to put together. It's a great example of how we bring multiple communication tools together around a single initiative. So for this project, right, we've developed the year in review articles highlighting the key accomplishments, and then through visual storytelling, we take all of those accomplishments from the past year, put together a full production process, including scripting, filming, and bringing that final production to fruition. And to support both pieces, we create that coordinated campaign across all platforms, directing residents to the article and the video. And it's just a source of civic pride that everyone can see those milestones and help the town share the same message across multiple platforms. So it's something that we do often where we combine the written, visual, and digital communications to help the residents, again, stay informed. That's really that theme that you see throughout all the communication strategies that we do throughout the community. Next slide. Also supporting the town's tourism and econ dev efforts with helping promote events that can attract the visitors to Yucca Valley. Each campaign we develop a strategy that includes a mix of social media, advertising, web contents, newsletters, PR, media relations and outreach. For both residents and visitors. That's our, who we're trying to target in terms of audience to make sure everyone sees that. And those efforts produce really strong results. We saw that this last year with the Orchid Festival campaign. That reached more than 56,000 people. And we received the stats over from the event organizers themselves. So in addition to an increased viewership on the landing pages of 2,500, your efforts there with supporting that event itself contributed to a 37.4% increase of attendance there. So just to give you an idea of how this works and seeing that return on investment, and it was a record-breaking charitable donations as we understand it as well, which is phenomenal. We used a similar approach with the art tours and Yucca Valley Film Festival. The art tours reached more than 11,600 people. Film festival campaign reached nearly 15,000 people. You see some of those stats there in front of you. So just really exciting ways to bring the whole community together around these events that happen in your community and in your region. Again, to the regional collaborations that Frank mentioned earlier, this is a great example of that and how collaborations with the different entities also supported the traction and tourism efforts there. Next slide, please. And for capital improvements, we support the capital improvement projects of the town by keeping residents informed with each phase of the project. The item ahead of myself, it's great to see all of that coming to fruition and where we're at milestone-wise. Residents are very keen on staying up to date as to what phase, at what time, and when they can expect the different results to take place. We see that in your engagements. So from the Aquatics and Recreation Center, we've managed the project webpage, produced videos, shared the construction updates. For Founders Plaza, developed the communications campaign around that, including the digital advertising, press outreach, social media, and we reached about 12,000 people ahead of that grand opening. And then also supporting the senior center modernization through project communications, branding, and community engagement for the center's new identity for that as well. So while each project is unique, the role that we provide for the town is to communicate consistently from start to finish. Next slide, please. Emergency communications is another important part of our work, whether it's wildfires, power outages, the extreme heat, winter storms, Hurricane Hillary that took place, those things. We work with the town staff to quickly share accurate updates across the platforms. Always encourage residents to go to the emergency notification source with your public safety partners, but showing that these posts consistently receive the highest engagement across all platforms for the town. It shows how people rely on them, and timely information is critical. So it's a key distribution point for the public safety info, and we also support year-round preparedness by creating the educational content that help residents prepare for the emergencies prior to their occurrence. Next slide. So I've thrown a lot at you. I'm going to wrap that all up here with the overall metrics. The results represent our work over the past term of the agreement and provide a snapshot into how the town's communications have continued to grow. We've distributed 161 press releases, reaching more than 908,000, if that gives you an idea of the distribution points for recipients. When we distribute on the town's platforms, the Constant Contact digital platforms, press releases receive a 41% open rate. That's 4% higher than the industry average. I'm going to correct, under the newsletters, it's actually a 51% open rate. That's a slight typo there. 51% open rate, which is a 7% increase over the industry average. So that really shows you how residents are craving that information. They want that updates, and that they have the town as a trusted source for that communication, which is really important. And on the town's website, traffic has increased by 14%. Active users grew to 4.9%. That means, again, they're getting their information from your official sources. And together, all of these metrics demonstrate the continued growth of the town's communications program and outreach to the residents and looking for that engagement. Next slide. So how does that translate into what's in front of you tonight? Looking ahead, this agreement is designed to build on all the momentum that I just shared. We've created this to support the town's evolving priorities. So our focus includes several key initiatives that we have here, continuing on the momentum of the town's 35th anniversary. SB 1383, still very important to communicate out. We're wrapping that into, that was previously grant funded. We've absorbed that into the retainer you see in front of you. The ARC opening that we've talked about, branding for the Desert Willow, pickleball courts opening, community spotlights, farmers market, the list goes on and on. And these are the priorities that we've identified with the town staff for the coming term of the agreement. And the proposed retainer, this is the tactics in which we execute all of that, include the social media management, content development, newsletter, media relations, website support and training for your staff, performance reporting, ongoing communications. And finally, we've included that additional just budget for the town flexibility for the larger initiatives we know that occur throughout the year. Again, the State of the Town, the Gubler Orchid Festival, there's recreation guide, accessibility support. We want to make sure that we upload those onto the website, and just graphic design support as needed, and collaboration with the ongoing tourism branding campaign that the town has with JNS. And that is all for me. Next slide. I would just like to thank the town for allowing us to be your communications partner since 2021, and we look forward to continuing that momentum and impact. And I'm open for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Frank. Are there any questions, comments from the public on this item? Please step up to the microphone and state your name and community of residence.
Hi again, I'm Diane Hartle, and I live in Yucca Valley. And as I said earlier, my husband and I, Terry, moved up here in 1985. I'm a little sad that the small town thing is not what it used to be, but I understand we all have to grow. And I was curious to know, have you been in touch with the Morongo Basin Historical Society to find any information from our roots and a lot of history? Because I'm a volunteer there as well. And more public awareness about fire safety, I think, is really important. And I guess I'll just lead into that. Where we live in Juniper Terrace, we had a terrible fire a year ago, I guess, and I just hope that there's more public awareness about people setting off illegal fireworks, and the apps that are available, the QR codes, I mean, that are available to report people setting off fireworks. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Cheryl Contopoulos, Yucca Valley. I didn't hear anything about the animal shelter, so you know I'm going to say something. I think there's a lot to celebrate right now. The volunteer program really needs to be ramped up, and the distribution through communications is very different than all the hard work that the shelter itself has been doing, posting to multiple Facebook groups. Volunteer program and the dogs, there's almost 100, as some of you I know are very aware. And they're wonderful dogs. And I think celebrating the fact that the save rate for dogs was 40% before, and now it's 86 to 90%. We're almost at no kill. The town needs to know that. The Morongo Basin needs to know that. Please add them in. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Well, good comments. I'm sure staff would be willing to discuss those items further after the meeting. So are we taking action here? Yeah, Council, any comments from Council?
I'd just like to say one thing. Tri-Pepe has done a great job for us. Not just what you've seen here in the social media presence of the quality of life programming that we have and the things that the town does. My biggest concern is, and directly what was just by one of the speakers, is the public safety aspect of it. We do use Tri-Pepe in our social media to get ahead of things. We talk about public safety issues. We talk about off-roading within the town boundaries. We talk about fireworks use. We try and get out in front of things when they are seasonal in some of these issues. I personally have been involved in some issues that were very acute. They happened very quickly, and Tri-Pepe was very reactive. She was listening to myself and my concerns, and also staff, and how we could best mitigate these problems. And they were very responsive. Within hours, we started to have social media releases, and then they followed up, and we got through that very well. But the best part of it is the public got on board with us because they knew we were trying to move it in the right direction. So it's the responsiveness that I really look at in the area of public safety and infrastructure that we have. But I certainly love the quality of life updates, and so those are good briefs too. But thank you to Tri-Pepe for the hard work that you're doing for our community.
Thank you. Councilmember Lombardo?
I'm pleased with what's been happening with Tri-Pepe Smith, and I think I would like to move, if we have no further discussion.
I have one thing.
Oh, you do, okay.
Councilmember Droz?
Yeah, thank you, Tri-Pepe Smith. I think you've been doing a great job, but it never hurts to have a little more input. I think, let's see here. For one thing, the pickleball courts. I know they've been on there, but don't forget about the pickleball courts. One thing that's really important around military holidays or veterans or whatever is the military banner program we have. I don't think a lot of people know about the military banner program. We also have, don't forget, like hiking and stuff, like North and South Park. Those are great places to hike where people can take their dogs on a hike. So those are the things I wanted to add. So that's it. Thank you. You guys are doing a great job.
Okay, good input. Thank you. Councilmember Lombardo, you were going to make a motion?
Yeah, I want to make a motion to approve the multi-year professional services agreement with Trepepe Smith for general and special communication services through June 30, 2028 for $8,550 monthly retainer, and authorize the town manager to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement for the same.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Dennison will second the item.
Councilmember Dennison,
Dennison, yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Lombardo,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Schooler.
Yes. Moving on to item number 16, Independence Day event recap. Can we get a staff report on that, please?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. I'll be presenting the Independence Day celebration event recap for you this evening. So the recommendation is for the Town Council to receive and file the Independence Day celebration event recap and provide direction regarding future Independence Day celebrations. And there will be a slide at the end with some possible discussion topics. So, event overview. So the Independence Day celebration in concert was on Friday, July 3rd. Due to a cooperative MOU agreement with the Morongo Unified School District, the Independence Day celebration was held at the Yucca Valley High School Stadium for the second year due to construction of the YV ARC project and its impact on available parking and how it continues to affect the traditional site over at Brem. So, although staging at the Yucca Valley High School site requires about $14,000 in additional resources due to technical aspects, they have that beautiful new turf field. We're not able to drive our stage that we use for the concerts in the park on it, so we do have to outsource and hire someone to build a stage on the site, so it's a little more expensive, but the location was an excellent temporary site, and MUSD staff and management have been very supportive over these past 2 years. So, the fireworks show. So I think it was my favorite fireworks show so far, but I'm a little biased, I guess. But additional support was received this year from the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians, who assisted in securing the fireworks display for the July 3rd date and provided a sponsorship for the event, reducing the cost of fireworks to the town by 50%. The town is grateful for the opportunity to collaborate with the tribe on this community event. And the town still does retain a credit from the fireworks vendor, Pyro Spectaculars, who is unsuccessful in executing the show in 2025 last year. So, other event details, the gates opened at 6 p.m. and the concert started at 6:30. The band was those guys, and I'll show you guys a bunch of photos in the couple slides, but they did a great job. And fireworks went off at 9 p.m. sharp this year, featuring a patriotic simulcast by media sponsor Z1077 Radio. There was free event parking available in the school parking lots and on nearby streets and the bus lanes, and a drop-off lane was available in the north parking lot. Traffic control and safety oversight were provided by San Bernardino County Sheriff Department and San Bernardino County Fire and Fire Marshal. We had rec staff giving out free giveaways. Miss Yucca Valley and her court provided free face painting throughout the event, and we had 5 food vendors on site during the event. So this is some of the food vendors. We turned part of that north parking lot into a food vendor plaza, kind of. I mentioned the high school's beautiful new field. There's no food allowed on the field. So we kind of turned that north parking lot into a little food vendor plaza. We had tables and chairs. We had 5 food vendors. When we checked in with them at the end of the night, they all said that they had a great night, so that was good. The band, those guys, they were super energetic and interactive. They put on a great show. They got out into the crowd. You can see the saxophone player on the top right. He got out there a couple times, but it was a great show. And then these are just some fun event photos. You can see kids in the top right. They were playing flag football for a little while. That bottom right corner shows someone from the Miss Yucca Valley Court doing face paint. You might see Madam Town Clerk and her family and some other staff families on there. And then there's Mayor Pro Tem Schooler. He had a warm welcoming at the before the fireworks in the evening, and then just families enjoying the night. And then some more. We did slingshot some special 250th anniversary t-shirts into the crowd. It was kind of a competition amongst the rec staff. They get a little competitive. And then they had bubble guns, and you could tell they took their jobs very seriously in that top right photo. And then there we have San Bernardino County Sheriff. They helped a lot throughout the event, just ensuring everyone's safety. So. And then beautiful fireworks, just a quick video of the finale. It was a long finale, so I didn't take that long of a video, but. Yeah, so quick thank you again. This event, it takes a lot to put it on, and we couldn't do it without all of these agencies as well as internal. We want to say a big thank you to our streets staff who help with the perimeter for the fireworks, and the facility staff who help with the tables and chairs and everything, and then the rec staff, of course. They always do a great job. They're out there days before, days after, day of, putting in a lot of work, but a big thank you to these outside agencies, 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians for the sponsorship, Morongo Unified School District for all of their support, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Citizens on Patrol, San Bernardino County Fire, and Fire Marshal for all of their help during the event for ensuring the public safety. Burtech Waste Industries, they supply the porta potties and hand washing station and dumpsters for the event. KK Rents donated the generator that supplies the power for the stage and the sound and the band. And then our media sponsors, Z1077 and High Desert Star, and of course, Miss Yucca Valley and her court. So, some discussion topics. The July 3rd day, doing it. This is the first time we've done it on the 3rd, not on the 4th. The location, drones, partnerships, yeah.
Thank you, Tommy. Excellent event. Any members of the public have a comment? Please state your name.
My name's Gina Pasquini, and I live up in Sky Harbor. I didn't actually go to the event, but I could see the fireworks show clearly from my pool deck in my backyard. It was magnificent. I gotta say, it was beautiful, and it really made my day. And I personally, for myself, I have no problem with it being on the 3rd because I know we have other towns, especially with 29 Palms being a military town, true military with the base on board. They would have the right to have it on the actual 4th of July. That part doesn't bother me, honestly. But yeah, it was beautiful. Good work. Really good work, guys.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Anybody online? No? Bring it back to the council. Councilmember Lombardo?
I want to say it was really wonderfully done. I had seats near the bus drop-off, but I did walk over to where they were doing the food vending and listened to the band, and I got my face painted. So it was all very fun. I think it was good being on the 3rd because it gives you options to be other places. It seems like I always had a family obligation to be somewhere on the 4th, and I missed a lot of the activities here in Yucca Valley. And so it was nice to be there for it this time. And the seats at the bus drop-off, you felt like you were right living in it. It was just, you could feel it vibrate your body with the explosions, and the colors were intense, and there was a lot of fireworks. It was really well done.
Councilmember Dennison.
I just want to make my comment on July 3rd. Originally, a lot of people were kind of disturbed that it was not on the actual 4th of July. But I think Councilmember Lombardo and also the public speaker earlier, it works out good because a town like us, we're a little bit smaller. We don't have the prime resources. They get picked up by larger cities, municipalities for other events, sporting events, things like that, those larger venues. But on the 3rd, we have a ton of bandwidth to really bring the best show possible. We learned a lot from 2 years ago, certainly. This year, we've put a lot of controls in place to not let it happen. Next year, it'll be at the Aquatic Center, or Brem Park as we call it, and it'll be on real grass. We won't have the constraints that was brought up during the presentation of limitations as far as access on and off the field. We have a beautiful area that we built years ago right down the street that is open. People can mingle there and do that, but the field's large, and I look forward to possibly, considering the 3rd as a regular date for us. I think we'll get a lot more bang for our buck, kind of say. And also, I think a swim and fireworks show could possibly be something that could happen around that time. So thank you very much for everyone. I've heard a lot of comments all the way throughout the town about how great the grand finale was. They said that was the longest one I've ever seen. So from Little Yucca Valley, we got a lot out of it. So thank you.
Councilmember Droz.
Yes, that was a wonderful 3rd of July, 4th of July celebration. I really enjoyed it. I was on the far end of the field away from the band, but it was incredible. I want to say I'm in favor of July 3rd for a lot of reasons. One is competition with 29 Palms, and that way we have July 3rd, people can go to the fireworks here, and then on the 4th they can go to 29 and listen to their music also. So we have the 3rd and the 4th. That was interesting. Anyway, so we have the 3rd and the 4th, so I think that's a plus for the community. And well, as far as the drones, I don't know if we need drones on the 4th of July. I mean, if we can afford it, I don't know how much that would increase the cost. I noticed that was up there. This is kind of off the subject, but I think a drone show would be appropriate for the opening of YV Arc, because YV Arc is like Yucca Valley going into the future, and drones are more futuristic and they're quiet. So I think drones would be great for the opening of YV Arc. But as far as the 4th of July, I'm happy with the fireworks. And if we have the money for drones, I think that's great. And I think that's all my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've heard similar comments from the community regarding the 3rd or the 4th without any objection to the 3rd, and I think that might turn out to be a good setup in the future. But just wanted to comment on the community come-togetherness of this event. And thank some of the sponsors. Tommy ran through them and mentioned them all, but for the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians to step up and co-sponsor the event financially was huge. The rec staff did a remarkable job. They were everywhere. They took care of all of the details all day and all night. Terrific job there. Nice to have Miss Yucca Valley in her court there participating. Yucca Valley High School, Morongo Unified School District, providing the facility, a true community event where so many people, the local media, so many people came together to make it happen. And I'm just really proud of the job you guys did. Terrific. So thank you.
One more thing.
One more thing.
On July 3rd, having the fireworks, people that live farther away from the fireworks can actually go to the fireworks if they have animals, because the animals maybe can't hear it. Like if you live like my distance away, you can't hear it much. But on July 4th, when there's a lot of illegal fireworks, then people can be home with their animals. So I think that's another benefit. So as much as we dislike the illegal fireworks, they happen on July 4th, so people can stay home with their animals.
Okay, thank you. That is a receive and file. Thank you for the report. Excellent. And we'll move to item number 17, the town's investment policy for fiscal year 2026 through 2028. May we have a staff report, please?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. I'll be presenting the investment portfolio update as a receive and file item to go in tandem with the investment policy. If you can just let me know you can hear me okay.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Perfect. All right, not as exciting as the firework and 4th of July event, but it does help fund it. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide and just provide a brief summary. So Summarizing the town's investment portfolio, we have several different asset types that the town takes its reserves and cash and puts them into various programs. The majority of this presentation will be over reviewing the Chandler Guided Portfolio Strategy Program, which is an investment program the town started in December of 2022. That program started with an initial investment of $5 million with an estimated return of $150,000 per year. You'll see that our expectations were definitely exceeded since then. The town also implemented a debt service fund portfolio where $12.7 million of the town's 2022 debt issuance was invested. And we've been slowly drawing down those funds all the way through the September of this year. And that's been to help fund the various capital projects that the town has going on at this time. And then we also have 2 fully liquid investment accounts. Those are accounts that can be drawn down at any time without restrictions. And that's the local agency investment fund and the money market account. So I'll just review a few of those different portfolio types and how that affects the town's cash flow and assets. If you go to the next slide. So Council does receive a treasurer's report every quarter that reviews the yield, which is the interest earnings on each of these accounts, and the total cash balance for each of these. So town staff prepares and presents that quarterly treasurer's report to council. It's usually a consent item. It communicates the total market value of each of these investments, where they're held, the average yield for the quarter, and this just helps to ensure consistent monitoring and transparency of the town's asset management. You go to the next slide. So I'll just move forward and provide a brief review of the investment portfolio's performance of those different assets I mentioned. If you go to the next slide. So this is just a summary of the town's portfolio performance from fiscal year 2022 to current. And these are totals as of June 30th of 2026. The town's investment portfolio, as I mentioned, was expanded in 2022 with the coordination of the Chandler Asset Management GPS portfolio program. Again, we did an initial deposit of $5 million to open the account and allowed Chandler to assist the town's investments with expanded interest earnings through a broader variety of market securities. And again, in addition to that Chandler GPS program, there was an initial investment of the 2022 debt service funds in a separate short-term portfolio. Year to date, that portfolio has earned a total of $2.17 million over that 4-year period. So that total interest earnings includes those debt service fund earnings, and then the general fund earned a total of $5.7 million since 2022. The town's portfolio and cash flow is a significant program to manage for the town's team, especially the finance team, and then especially during the many major capital projects that are mostly funded through grant reimbursements. So it's our job to ensure that the town has sufficient cash flow to ensure all the various construction progress billings are made while we wait for those grants to reimburse the town. So that requires town staff to consistently ensure that cash flow is available and then advance those funds before the grants reimburse the town. We did plan for yields to diminish as the debt service was drawn down. However, I'm happy to share the town has not had to utilize any of the GPS portfolio to accommodate these projects, and we've been able to maintain higher interest earnings than expected. You can go to the next slide. So this is a summary of the Chandler GPS portfolio. It's made up of a variety of investments from sectors that are approved through California government code and in alignment with the council's approved investment policy. The updated investment policy is before council this evening. It has a few minor adjustments, but nothing that changes the overall strategy of the investment portfolio. It's more so just to ensure that there's clear language that aligns with the code. A majority of the town's funds are held in U.S. Treasury bonds, which are AAA credit rated and considered the most secure sector for the town's funds. Around a quarter of the portfolio is invested in corporate securities, which are AA to AAA rated trade options. They're usually shorter term than the Treasury bonds. Recently, the town has requested Chandler to realign their GPS portfolio to longer term investments, which have increased the average maturity to a 4 to 5 year period. which means you receive those total interest earnings at the end of the investment period. So instead of receiving them every 1 to 2 years, we're moving to a 4 to 5 year period. This just means that the town's funds are being held in more secured long-term rates, yielding more reliable earnings results and avoids those more recent market volatility risks. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So since inception, the Chandler GPS portfolio has yielded a total return rate of 4.33%. Those rates have slowly decreased in 2026. Again, the town's management team identified the need to make a strategic shift over to the longer term program and expects those yields to remain consistent in the 4 to 5 year bond market. Go to the next slide. So this is a comparison of the town's portfolio return rate to the 90-day T-bill, which is the 90-day Treasury bill rate. It's a common benchmark for market returns. As you can see, when we began in 22, through the first 2 year period, the town's portfolio worked to match those rates while also being required to maintain a balanced portion of funds that are fully liquid, which are usually lower returns than if you put them into those Treasury bills. Recently, those rates have decreased and the town's returns are now pacing well with the market trend. You can go to the next slide. So just to touch on the administrative side of the Chandler's portfolio management, there's a significant amount of reporting, ensuring appropriate transparency and tracking of the cash flow and investments. To begin, town staff receives ticket notifications as presented here at each settlement completed by Chandler. It includes relevant information such as the security name, yield rate, maturity date, and any associated fees. Next slide. As required by the California Government Code and the town's investment policy, Chandler provides a compliance report that it's issued each quarter. This ensures all assets meet the policy criteria. This report is also part of the town's audit procedures, and it's directly reviewed and tested by the town's audit team twice a year. Go to the next slide. In addition to compliance reports, the town receives monthly statements, quarterly market and portfolio reviews with a Chandler team, and then annual compliance statements to meet code and our annual financial reporting requirements. Go to the next slide. So the recommendation in the staff report is to review and approve the fiscal year 26-28 investment policy, and then for this presentation, it's just to receive and file an update on the investment portfolio. I'd be happy to answer any questions after public comment.
Thank you, Jordan. Is there any public comment on this? Okay, we'll bring it back to the council. Comment?
I have one question, Jordan. You're shifting from the short term to the longer term. Is it done in kind of a ladder type progression where certain funds become available? You get a bulk of money, you know what I'm saying, a ladder type progression so that we can.
Correct. So not everything is weighted to that 4 to 5 year term.
Correct.
Chandler puts together a strategy that as our old bonds mature and are available, they put a portion to that 4 to 5 year, and then they stagger. So the town always has funds maturing at certain stages throughout the year if we ever needed to draw down.
And that seems to be a very workable thing because you're getting longer term, you're getting exposure to the longer term and the interest rate is better. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
You've done an outstanding job, and I think, it would have been easy just to lump it in an account and not even get interest on it, but we've made an incredible amount of interest, and that shows kind of a conservative approach to money management that I think has served our town very well. And I thank you for your effort in all that. I know it's a lot to go through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Dennison?
I just want to thank Jordan and the team for always keeping a very close eye on our responsibility, and that's to maintain our budget. So thank you for that, and it's always good news. It was I got another update from you, I think, yesterday, so it's always good reading. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jordan, we're happy to have you managing our finances. Great job, and attending to the details, the ins and outs of all the projects and investments and so forth. So great job. Thank you for the report. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
It's receive and file, Mayor.
Receive and file? It says receive and approve. Okay.
Yeah,
Then we'll
there is a motion. There's a, to approve the new investment policy
Right.
and the updates. Yeah.
I'll move to approve the new investment policy as listed in our,
And Dennison will second.
review and approve the fiscal year 26-28 investment policy and receive and file the Chandler investment portfolio update.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Dennison,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Lombardo,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Schooler.
Yes. Off there. Okay. Item number 18, designation of voting delegate for the League of California Cities Annual Conference. We have a staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. The item before you tonight is the designation of the town's voting delegate and up to 2 alternate delegates for the 2026 League of California Cities Annual Conference and Expo. The Cal Cities General Assembly will be held on Friday, September 25th, 2026 in Anaheim. During the General Assembly, member cities vote on resolutions that help establish Cal Cities policies, positions on issues affecting cities throughout California. Each member city is entitled to 1 voting delegate, and then the cities can also delegate up to 1 or 2 alternate delegates who may serve as the primary delegate if they're unavailable. Under the Cal Cities bylaws, the voting delegate and any alternates must be formally designated by action of town council, and this designation cannot be made administratively by mayor or town manager. Approval of this item ensures that the town of Yucca Valley will be represented during the General Assembly and able to participate in the statewide policy discussions and voting. Following council action, staff will submit the designated voting delegate and the alternatives to the Cal Cities by September 1st as the deadline. Staff recommends that council designate 1 voting delegate and 1 or 2 alternates. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions following public comment.
Does any member of the public have a comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council.
I won't be there, so.
Okay,
I'm out.
you're out. And I will be there, but not on Friday. I have a commitment back in Yucca Valley on that Friday. So, Brooke, do you have an idea if the mayor is going to be there?
Mayor did indicate today that he will be at the conference for all 3 days.
So it would be reasonable to expect him to be the primary voting delegate.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you, anybody?
I'll be attending also.
And I will be too. So as the mayor being the primary, and you can have 2 alternates, and you're not going to be there
Alternate-
Friday either.
I won't be there Friday.
So I think we would make the 2 alternates, and I'll let you have the first step. You can
Okay,
take the
if
first
you're
step.
busy, I mean,
Yeah,
we can share the responsibility. We'll figure it out on,
we'll do it.
yeah.
Okay,
Dennison,
so it
Lombardo.
sounds like we've got agreement that the mayor will be the primary voting delegate.
Yes.
Councilmember Lombardo, first alternate. Councilmember Dennison, second alternate. Is that right?
Yes, I would make that motion also.
Okay. Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second.
Councilmember Dennison,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Lombardo,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Schooler.
Yes. Okay, are there future agenda items? Any council member have a recommendation, question, suggestion for future agenda item?
I do.
Councilmember Lombardo?
I've had incident to chat with several foreign visitors. I guess the FIFA craze brought all sorts of foreign visitors to our community. And one very engaging young lady talked about having a sister city program. She was from Germany, and she came from a small town similar to ours in population. And she had all sorts of suggestions of things that could allow us to interact culturally with another country on a sister city type of program that she was familiar with. And I wondered if my other council members would be interested in exploring that idea and what it could mean. One of the things that has come to mind would be an exchange of students, kind of like student abroad type programs. We could exchange office staff kind of thing, where staff gets to go and take a trip and they send their staff here and they learn how we do recreation in our environment and we learn how they do recreation in their environment would be an example. But I know it's kind of a harebrained idea, and I'm kind of good at those harebrained ideas. It needs to be talked out and discussed, and maybe a workshop with the public to see if the public would participate, because we would need their involvement in it, maybe as a sponsor to house the person that comes, or in some way sponsor them so that their stay here is guided and directed and made to be as much fun as possible and a learning experience. And I think it would be a great thing for Yucca to reach out. And we've become much more international. I think if you look around the town or if you interact with people that are in our environment, you'll find that there are a lot of people from other places and they love our environment and want to know more about it. And so maybe we would have an opportunity to have the same experience in another location for us as well.
Okay. We have
So
consensus
it would
on that?
need, maybe we can bring it up another time. If you're not ready to jump on it now, I know it's kind of but I would need some support to bring this idea forward.
Future agenda, sure.
Future agenda, but not urgent? Is that what I'm hearing?
Okay, no.
Okay.
I think it'd be great, but right now, I don't know if we have the bandwidth for it with all
Oh,
the
yeah,
projects that
probably
we have going on, but I would like to keep it on the radar. I think it's a very intriguing thought about sharing our beauty of our area with others, but I don't know how all that would work.
I don't either. That's why I want to talk
Research
about it in
first.
an open forum where we can exchange ideas together without having the problem that we have of violating the Brown Act. Because I
Appreciate
can only
that.
talk to one person when I'm not in public.
Right. Thank you for bringing it up.
To gather support, it needs to be a much broader. And I'd like to involve the community too, because I'm sure there's a lot of them that have connections all over that would like to see something happen. But I am but one guy. So I will let it sit table. Okay.
We'll let that
I won't
ferment.
forget.
Okay. All right, we move along to public comments. The town council takes this time to consider your comments on items of concern which are not on the agenda. When you're called to speak, please state your name and community of residence. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Inappropriate behavior which disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting will result in forfeiture of your public comment privileges. The town council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not on the printed agenda. Members of the public are welcome to provide comment. However, you may wish to wait. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I would like to just point out that the item, the rodeo issue is not on the printed agenda. We are happy to hear your comments, both pro and con, but we are unable by state law to take action or to comment on those items. So we're happy to hear the comments. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
We do. The first request to speak is from Gina Paschini.
Good evening. My name is Gina Pasquini. I am from Yucca Valley. I live up in the Sky Harbor area. And I am up here to discuss with you the rodeo. It's my brainchild, it's my baby. I know Missy Buchanan has put it on in the past, and her and I are working on this. I worked on rodeos up north when I lived up there for a while. But my heart's in Yucca Valley. I was raised in Yucca Valley. I love our city. Having left in '94 and coming back in 2019, when I got over Old Woman Springs Road and saw the city, I was like, wait a minute, that's not the Yucca Valley I left, but I love it. And I miss Grub Steaks Days. I saw Grub Steaks Days in its grandeur. I was in the Grub Steaks Days rodeo with my horse, or not rodeo, parade with my horse. I think by preserving our past, we strengthen our future. We can't forget everything that we've done in our past. And I really do want to team with you guys. You represent the city. We're the city. I want to work with you. I want the rodeo to be as much a part of you as it is my passion. So I'm just asking you to please possibly back me. If you could put me on the agenda, we can work together. I would just love to see it come back in grandeur, and I'd like to see Grub Steaks Days be revived again. Be the happy place like it was for my high school friends and I, and how we looked forward to the carnival and the rodeo and the demolition derby and all the wonderful things that we've had in the past. So that's what I'm here for. I'll probably be speaking more into the future, but I really do want to see it come to Yucca Valley, and I would love to have you guys at my side. So that's it. That's what I have to say for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Sandra Hartness.
Hi, my name is Sandy, and I've been a resident of the Yucca Mesa, well, Yucca in general, Yucca Mesa area right now for 37 years. I've been up here a while. Pro rodeo, I grew up in Norco, California, so I've been to a lot of rodeo. It used to be the center focal point of Grub Steaks. And since there is no more rodeo at Grub Steaks, in my opinion, and in many others, the Grub Steaks Festival it has really gone downhill. It really has. There's no reason for me to even go anymore without the rodeo. So the rodeo brings families for something to do. That brings a sense of community, brings horse people together. There's a lot of horses out here, and you just wouldn't know it anymore because there's nothing for us to do. So that's another thing, maybe, if you're promoting grubs, the Goobler's orchids and stuff, why can't you promote something to do with horses? There's a lot out here, a lot of farm animals. So we have nothing to do in this town. So maybe bring something back. So bringing back the rodeo, like I said, it brings community together, it brings money into our communities. Like I said, again, something for families to do, it's fun. Let's see what else. I wrote a lot of notes here. And you'll probably have some real negative comments tonight about rodeo, and I just want to comment on that also. So I'm for animal welfare, not for animal rights. And you have to understand that animal rights people are extreme. They're extreme. They claim they love animals and they're doing it for the animals, but they'll turn around and do things like, my friend used to work at Petco, and they actually went into a Petco and poured bleach into the fish tanks to kill the fish so they can take pictures and use it for their agenda. So they do things like that. They claim to love animals, but then they go to dog shows and turn dogs loose, and dogs get hit by cars and disappear. So they claim one thing, but their actions show another. Their whole, let's see, their motto, literally animal rights motto, is better dead than fed. They want you to turn your dogs loose. They don't want you to own. So owning an animal, in their view, is slavery. This is the extreme people we're dealing with. So when they get up here and talk, I'd like you to take them with a grain of salt, because they're based in emotion and not fact. Like I said, I've been to a lot of rodeo in my whole life. Not one animal has ever been injured that I have personally seen. A lot of people taken away in ambulances, but never an animal. And lately, they've been using AI-generated videos.
Thank you. If we could refrain from disparaging any other speakers, everybody's got a right to speak.
Well, in general.
Well, we appreciate your comments.
Yeah.
Next up is Sherry Yocum.
Hi, my name is Sherry Yocum, and I live in Landers. I grew up as a little kid around the rodeo. My grandparents' property backed right up to it, so I'm for the rodeo. I moved here in 1976. I'm into Joshua Tree, and my husband's been here since 1965. I'm a little bit nervous. My kids, I have kids that have kids, and I have great-grandkids, and we all watch Grub Stakes, and Joshua Tree used to have Turtle Days, and all the events that we had up here that were so much fun to go to. And we have a large horse community here. If you just drive around the outskirts, you can see horses everywhere. My next-door neighbors in Landers have horses, and I just think that we should have it back. You know, I had fun at the rodeos. As a little kid, I used to be able to open the chute for the cows to run out of and go pet horses and interact with people that owned horses. And they loved the kids came up and petted the horses and got to know animals. And it wasn't dangerous. It was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of fun in this community when we had things like that. Grub Stakes was a big part of it. It used to go down the middle of Main Street. We don't have that anymore. We don't have Turtle Days anymore. The Rock and Gem Show has moved out of Josh Street downtown. So many things have moved out that there's not so much to do anymore. And I think the rodeo would be a really good thing to have for the community to be able to get together and have a good time. Thank you.
Next up is Allie Irwin.
Good evening. Thanks for hearing me tonight and for taking me seriously. Yesterday, I sent an email to the council. Apologize for reading, it's just how I can be more clear. Yesterday, I sent an email to the council requesting sponsorship to get the rodeo issue placed on an upcoming agenda. Thank you to Councilman Dennison, who responded. I am still looking for that sponsorship to have this issue, which you can see is very important to a lot of the community, placed on a future agenda. I also sent an email expressing my concerns after the previous town council meeting, and Mayor Abel directed me to address the Chamber of Commerce about the rodeo, and I did. And Tanya Chu advised me that the rodeo committee had broken with the chamber, and that they were forming a nonprofit to host the rodeo. I was unsure if they were still trying to receive support from the town, and it seems like the committee is. So the shift doesn't actually resolve the underlying question, and what I'm asking is for the council to put a consideration of a municipal ordinance prohibiting rodeo events in Yucca Valley on an upcoming agenda. I'd like you to address town sponsorship, use of town property, and the event permitting process. So fighting over whether to have a rodeo isn't a dispute where reasonable people can agree to disagree, and I don't expect the council to settle that for me tonight. There are genuinely different beliefs in this room, but there is one group here with no voice and no vote. As I wrote in my request to you yesterday for a future agenda item, the benefit of an ordinance is that it would position the town proactively ahead of any future rodeo proposal rather than responding case by case to individual event applications, aligns Yucca Valley with a documented trend among California municipalities, reduces the town's exposure to liability, code enforcement, animal control demands, and takes into account the desires of a minority but a substantial number of community members who believe that animals are exploited in rodeos. I'd like to thank Councilman Dennison for responding to the email, and also to the Mayor Pro Tem, and Councilman Droz for their responses to my earlier concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Abby Olea.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Abby. I am a citizen of Yucca Valley, and I am here tonight to speak in support of reviving the traditional Grubstake Days rodeo. In a world where so many of us spend hours hidden behind a screen and disconnected from one another, rodeo offers something vital and unique. Genuine community, dedication, appreciation for hard work, and camaraderie. But what exactly is rodeo? The purpose of rodeo is to celebrate Western heritage and transform essential ranching duty into competitive sports. More modern events, such as bull riding and barrel racing, test the speed and agility of the competitors while displaying the relationship between animal and human. Our town of Yucca Valley has deep Western roots, and to lose sight of our rodeo is to lose a piece of Yucca Valley's identity. This tradition honors our town's heritage, perseverance, and an unbreakable bond. Those who truly understand this sport know that it has never been about harm or exclusion. It is about person and animal working together as partners, as a team. Rodeo is the anticipated result of years of hands-on care through rain or shine, mutual respect, and discipline. I speak from experience when I say I have spent late nights caring for an injured horse, long hours exercising them to ensure fitness and health, and countless moments of silence trying to understand these beautiful animals. I do all this because I love it. It is my passion. Bringing back the Grubstake Days Rodeo isn't just about preserving a pastime, it's about honoring our past and giving our community an event we can be proud of. Thank you for your time, and I encourage you all to support restoring this tradition. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby.
Lucy Olea.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is
You can pull that microphone down if you want. There you go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lucy, and I am here in support of the Grubstake Days Rodeo. Grubstake Days began in 1915 to celebrate Yucca Valley's mining and ranching legacy. Rodeo was added shortly after. A rodeo is a competitive equestrian sport that displays the working skills of cowboys and cowgirls. Although I have never been a rancher, I do have 13 chickens, 2 guinea fowl, 2 turkeys, 4 dogs, 1 lizard, and 3 beautiful horses. I am responsible for feeding, milking, and exercising our horses. I must be committed to their well-being, or else they would starve and colic. Knowing how to control a horse through training and bonding has made me a more confident rider. Hard work and care is crucial to owning a horse. I love my animals. I don't play soccer, I don't play pickleball. I ride horses. I would love to participate in local gymkhanas and eventually rodeos right here in my own western town. Please consider my request and keep the equestrian sports alive. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We have Kaylin Moon.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Moon. I live in Yucca Valley. I'm 16 years old, and I was born and raised in Yucca Valley. I'm a part of the California Junior Rodeo Association, And the events I compete in are barrel racing, pole bending, and breakaway roping. Rodeo has always been a part of my family and my life. In 2017, I was Tiny Miss Grubstake Days rodeo queen. My mom was a rodeo queen for Yucca Valley in 1996, and my aunt was a rodeo princess in Yucca Valley in 1998. I have been riding horses all my life, and my parents have competed in rodeo as well. I have been raised around rodeo and the Western way of life. It has taught me responsibility, confidence, and sportsmanship. No matter where life takes me, rodeo will always be part of who I am. I think the rodeo should be brought back into Yucca Valley because the Grubstake Days rodeo was a big part of our town. Rodeo is not just a sport, it is a lifestyle. Rodeo may be a rugged, tough sport, but it is not animal abuse. PRCA, Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association, has a rule book that is 250 pages long with extensive rules and regulations that protect the animals. I know from my own experiences that rodeo competitors and livestock contractors take amazing care of their animals. These animals are not only their livelihood and a huge investment, but are part of their family. The history of rodeo goes way back, and rodeo is a practice that has been a huge part of U.S. history and culture for more than a century. The roping events represent ranching still to this day. Calves and steers have to be roped to be doctored. The rough stock events represent cowboys having to saddle break their horses so they have a horse to ride to check fence and doctor cattle. In rodeo, the steers for team roping have to have horn wraps to protect their horns and hide from the rope. In tie-down roping, there is a jerk-down rule, meaning they can't jerk the calf down. In rough stock events, they are only allowed to use dull spurs that easily roll, and that is just to name a few. All animals are inspected 2 hours prior to the rodeo, and there has to be a veterinarian present at each rodeo. There are strict rules that come with fines if any animal is injured or mistreated. That includes individuals with their own privately owned horses at the rodeo. Being Tiny Miss Grubstake Days rodeo queen is something that I will always be proud of, and it has given me so many memories I will carry with me for the rest of my life. It wasn't just about wearing a crown, it was about representing Yucca Valley rodeo, learning confidence, meeting incredible people, and feeling proud to be part of a community that celebrates Western heritage. I still remember the excitement leading up to it, being in the parade on my pony, putting my hair in curlers for hours, sitting there while my mom did my makeup, putting my shiny, colorful outfits on, and the excitement and nervousness before entering the arena to do my queen salute. Those may seem like little moments, but to me, they became some of the biggest memories of my childhood. Rodeo has shaped who I am. I know bringing an event back like this takes time, volunteers, funding, and dedication, but I believe our community is capable of making it happen, and it is an opportunity for the community to come together. Thank you for your time, and thank you for considering bringing the rodeo back to our hometown.
Thank you.
Diane Hardy. Diane Hardy. Hartle.
Hello again, my name is Diane Hartle. I've been a resident in the Morongo Basin for 41 years, 36 years at our house on Desert Gold. And my main purpose for being here tonight was to extend a huge thank you to Mayor Abel and Curtis Yakima, who I both had some correspondence with. As you know, it was last year or the year before that we had that terrible fire up in Juniper Terrace area by the water tank. I was in bed, it was around 11 o'clock, I smelled smoke, went outside, saw that blaze. It was terrifying. Still getting emotional. So they listened to me, and on the 3rd, Terry and I went to visit a friend out in the Mesa, and when we came home, we drove up near the water tank, and you guys listened and put barriers up, and I can't thank you enough. There are a few other concerns in our Juniper Terrace area. There have been a couple individuals who have been setting off illegal fireworks. There's been a little community gathering. We know of one individual where he lives. He says that nothing can be done because you can't, once the illegal firework is set off into the sky, if you don't have photographic evidence, you tough out of luck. Well, I had made several phone calls to the San Bernardino County Fire Department in San Bernardino, and yes, they do keep record. As I said earlier, there is the QR code, and if enough people know about the QR code and voice, oh, I saw this firework go off in this general vicinity, they can start putting things together. This person is very arrogant in what he's doing, and his job in our neighborhood is surprising of what his job is. So that's that on that. Then also in our neighborhood, as you come up Acoma and you make a right on Desert Gold, you follow Desert Gold down jogs to the left on Elk, and then a right again on Desert Gold, and that's up where Terry and I live. But on the first part of Desert Gold, there's a home on the left-hand side of the street, and there's a huge dead pine tree. And I watched that tree kind of leaning this way. It's dead. Cut it down. That's all I'm saying. And there's a few other trees in our neighborhood that are dead, and they need to be taken care of. A few years ago, we saw a pine tree go up down on one of the Cherokee, Bannock, whatever, the Indian name streets down there. Bolt of lightning hit that tree, and we watched it go up in flames. The other thing that concerns me is that people are still allowed to burn their trash in their yard. There was an elderly couple down by, on Mountain View, down by that, coming up off of Acoma and make a right on Mountain View. And they got, does that mean my time's up?
Yeah, thank you for your comments, Ms. Hartle.
Sorry.
Vivian Ripley.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vivian Ripley, and I want to share what horses and rodeo truly mean to me. Oh, and I'm a citizen of Yucca Valley. To some people, rodeo is just a sport. To me, it's so much more than that. It's where I've learned responsibility, patience, perseverance, and respect. Every day, caring for a horse means putting their needs before your own. They depend on us for food, water, exercise, medical care, and love. That responsibility has shaped who I am. The bond between a horse and its rider does not happen overnight. It takes time, trust, dedication, and hard work. Horses aren't machines, they are partners. They have personalities, emotions, and they teach us lessons that cannot be taught in a classroom. Riding has also given me confidence. It has taught me that falling is not failure, it's part of learning. Every challenge has made me stronger both in and out of the arena. The values I've learned through riding are ones I'll carry for the rest of my life. A rodeo would help others learn some of these lessons too. I understand that not everyone shares the same perspective on rodeo. I respect that people care deeply about animals because I do too. Everyone I know in the rodeo community loves their horses and works hard every day to keep them healthy, safe, and happy. Their well-being always comes first. When people watch rodeo, I hope they see more than a competition. I hope they see the dedication, partnership, and the years of trust between a horse and rider. I hope they see young people learning responsibility, building character, and creating lifelong memories with animals they love. My hope is that rodeo continues to bring families together, preserve traditions, and inspire the next generation to appreciate and care for these incredible animals. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next I have is Brenda. Brenda.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. My name is Brenda Calvillo, and I'm a resident of 21 Palms. And I'm here today to implore the city to pass an ordinance banning rodeos in the city of Yucca Valley. Yucca is known for its commitment to the landscape and its nature and appreciation, and its commitment to protecting wildlife and open spaces. A rodeo does not reflect those values. Rodeo are entertainment that depends. So everybody I've heard to coming up here asking for a rodeo, they talk about themselves, how it's benefiting themselves, but they haven't talked about the animals. I often hear people say they love how they love these animals and they are well cared for. I don't question that, but many rodeo people do. They do love the animals, and I understand that, and they genuinely care about them. But if we truly love the animals, would you put them in danger, in the way of danger? We don't do that to those that we love. We don't put them in unnecessary danger, and that's what rodeos do. They put people, the public, and the animals in unnecessary danger. For what? For our entertainment. That is totally unacceptable. Communities evolve. We can honor our Western heritage without using animals in competitive events. Respecting tradition and showing compassion are not mutually exclusive. They can go hand in hand. Yucca Valley has the opportunity to create events that celebrate our unique community without putting animals at risk. Imagine a Western Heritage Festival with live country music, line dancing, cowboy poetry, historical reenactments, local artisans, blacksmith demonstrations, delicious food vendors, performances that showcase incredible skills without involving animals. We could also host desert runs, rock climbing competitions, outdoor concerts, artisan markets that support the city of Yucca Valley. The question before us is simple. What kind of community do we want to be? One that relies on animals for entertainment, or one that demonstrates that compassion and progress can coexist with tradition? I ask you to choose a future that reflects kindness, innovation, and respect for all living beings. Please support this ordinance. Please introduce the ordinance banning rodeos in the city of Yucca Valley. Thank you.
We have Becky Vowles. Becky. Scott Vowles. Janet McKinnon.
Hi there. My name is Janet McKinnon. I'm a licensed architect in California. I live at 58140 Aurora Drive, Yucca Valley. We have an invasive plant invasion here in Yucca Valley. There are many invasive species: Sierra mustard, ragwood, tumbleweed, and goatheads, and several grasses that are visible as yellow grasses on the desert floor driving east as you go to Copper Mountain College. If one continues east past the college, the sand color returns to the desert floor. These grasses, red brome, cheatgrass, and Mediterranean grass, are highly flammable and have plagued Joshua Tree National Park for years, resulting in a serious wildfire problem that wasn't there before. The Yucca Valley Town Council may be a solution to this problem by leading the effort for removal and disposal of invasives to nip this invasion in the bud, so to speak. The problem is open land. An old floodplain exists on the north side of Paxton Road, adjacent to the airport. The tumbleweed issue has been brought to your attention in previous town meetings by Norman Schertzman. The old floodplain is a swath of land varying in width from 40 feet wide across, stretching northeasterly, paralleling the neighborhood entirely as a thriving invasive plant community. There is a 15-foot embankment on the south side of this swath of land, thus rendering the land not visible unless you discover it on foot. The fire concerns that these invasive species bring is both enormous and expensive. Invasive species overtake the native species that are the major food source for animals who also perish when they can't find food anymore. My purpose tonight is to bring this to your attention as a member of the community. There are a number of solutions. The town of Yucca Valley could be the hero of the Moranga Basin as an example to follow other ordinances, other towns. Your compliance staff member, Evan Willoughby, has already been contacted, who has offered to put this issue on the agenda for further study and deliberation. May I request that this issue be placed on the agenda starting next month? One of my previous lives was leading stewardship groups as an architect, but the problem with neighborhood groups is a need for support to know how to dispose of the invasives properly. Joshua Tree National Park tried to mitigate the grass invasion, but the man-hours were so extensive at the beginning that they couldn't catch up. These grasses changed our area completely forever. Thank you for allowing me to share my vision for building a sense of community in Yucca Valley. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Norman Schertzman.
My name is Norman Schertzman. I live at 58140 Aurora Drive, Yucca Valley. And I live near the airport, or the property surrounding the airport. And it's just, they got a whole new crop of tumbleweeds growing that are, getting to be that tall. And we know they're not going to be there next year. They're going to be in everybody's yards in the neighborhood. The person's just out of control. They don't care. They don't live here. And it's creating fire hazards to people. There's people that can't afford to clear their land, and they just got tumbleweeds all over their yard, and it's not a good thing. I walk in my yard and I see tumbleweeds every day. It's not a nice thing to see. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Megan Ripley.
Good evening, Town Council. My name's Megan Ripley. I am a resident of Yucca Valley. My family and I moved here in late 2017 and from Indianapolis. So I would say I'm actually from a big city and a city girl and not a horse person at all. But I do want to thank you for the opportunity to come and voice my support for the town to bring back rodeos to help celebrate Memorial Day weekend and our Grub Stake Days history. Now, to my knowledge, 2018 was the last rodeo held in Yucca Valley, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what happened in my life from getting to see a rodeo in real life in 2018. My daughter, who spoke here tonight, became smitten with horses at the age of 5. Being in an urban area, we didn't have horse rescues and farms all around where we lived, and not a lot of opportunity for her to get her hands on horses that was affordable to us at that time. So getting to see the rodeo for her birthday when she turned 7 with her friends was magical for her. It was an opportunity for her to see the professional riders, and of course they make it look so easy, and just the beauty and strength of the animals was showcased so wonderfully at that rodeo. And so, of course, it made them fall in love with horses even more and fostered and fanned their dreams of horseback riding. And while my daughters remain hopeful to get to ride a horse one day, we're not a family that is ready, willing, or able to own a horse. Fortunately, the opportunity came along several years later, thanks to our friends here, to serve at a horse rescue ranch where they learned how much hard work was involved and in taking care of horses and just some basic riding lessons. Let's see. So by the time that we were able to get to the horse rescue, I have 2 older daughters, 3 now, but my girls were 13 and 11 years old. And I know some of you have had the pleasure of parenting teen girls at this age. And if you've had any close in age, you know that this 13 and 11-year-old time frame can be particularly challenging. The work my daughters were able to do at the horse ranch stirred up a spirit of selflessness in them in both of them. They learn to care for not only animals, but also how to better care for themselves and for each other. They learn that a process must be followed before and after riding to ensure the horse remains in the healthiest condition. They were putting in 4 hours at a rescue to maybe get 20 minutes of riding time. So I just wanted to stress that the work and selflessness that stirs up in the youth is needed here in the town. And I would ask to not ban the rodeo and be a follower of self-proclaimed progressive municipalities, but work to carve our own way.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Sandra Hamlin. Sandra Hamlin.
I don't have any notes. I'm Sandra Hamlin. I live in Yucca Valley. But I want to start by clarifying something. I learned to ride when I was 4. My family's from Oklahoma. They had ranches and farms. I have ridden horses all over Europe, through Australia. I have trained disabled kids how to ride horses and learn to appreciate the animal. There is passion on this issue on both sides. The rodeos that I rode in were horse only. I didn't want to see a little calf or a cow come out of the chute with somebody on a horse trying to rope it, it's scared to death running around, and have it fall and hurt itself. That I'm not interested in. I would remind Yucca Valley that we are recovering still from a 1.5 years of shelter issues. Our reputation in this town went below and around through the media. Now we have someone poisoning dogs in the park. Do we want to be known as the city that potentially risks animal welfare? I don't know why we would want to do that. Secondly, I really don't want my tax dollars paying for something that has that potential risk. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Bobby Breckenridge.
Hello, Mayor Pro Tem and honorable members of the council and community. My name is Bobby Breckenridge, and I'm a resident and voter here in Yucca Valley. Almost every single one of us in this room has an immigrant story we are proud of, one where against all odds, our ancestors made it to these shores and survived against so many obstacles, in part so we could carry on their legacy. I am here today to make a powerful request of this council to protect the residents of Yucca Valley from the faithless and unlawful activities of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. In less than a year, we have seen mass men kidnapping U.S. citizens, including a teaching assistant in Chicago, the murder of a mother and VA nurse in Minnesota, car crashes throughout the country due to reckless driving practices, and firing into the vehicles of innocent people, including a grandfather, father, and son, who are riding together right here in San Bernardino County. That's just out on the streets. By the end of 2026, ICE detention was holding 68,000 people. Nearly 75% of them had no criminal convictions, and 32 people died there. Let's make our immigrant ancestors proud by protecting this community, especially our neighbors perceived as first-generation immigrants, from a poorly trained, highly armed, and unlawful agency, beginning with the following 3 actions. Adopt a local sanctuary policy consistent with California's SB 54 that limits local cooperation with ICE, so we do not use our town resources, time, labor, or funding to assist this agency. Number 2, pass a resolution limiting use of town-owned property for ICE operations unless required by a court-issued judicial warrant. And number 3, support and fund the dissemination of Know Your Rights materials so that we here in this community all understand what our rights are in the presence of ICE agencies, ICE officers, and also so we know what to do when our neighbors and the people who work with us get taken. Thank you, and God bless our beautiful city.
Thank you.
Eden DeFore.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eden Dufour. I am from Yucca Valley, California. First, I'd like to thank all of you for the opportunity to even be able to stand up here and voice our opinions and our appreciations for what you guys accept here and for what we are for that you approve. I'm sure some of y'all recognize the last name Dufour. My father, he owned High Desert Motorcycle Supply for many years in this town. And if you see the newspaper ads from back in the day, he was the great-grandson of Yucca Valley. Therefore, I am the great-great-granddaughter of Yucca Valley, making me Fred Story's great-great-granddaughter. Fred Story was one of the founders of Yucca Valley. He did, in fact, change the name, part of the committee, to change it from Lone Star to Yucca Valley. He helped start the first fire department in Yucca Valley with the help of all of the citizens here. He did many great things for this town. My grandmother, she did ride her horse in the first Grub Stakes Day Parade. She was raised by Fred Story, so he was the reason she had a horse. I think it's very important to touch on the rodeo topic just for the fact that we are a town, along with the entire San Bernardino County, that is cattle and ranching. We've had cattle run through our mountains, and most people don't even know that because they're not from here. Anyone who truly does love Yucca Valley loves what we have held up to where we are now. A lot of us do unfortunately miss how it was just because the motive has been changed from us locals who actually live here to who visits, who brings the town money. With that topic, I do say rodeo is a great initiative to bring money into our town. I was recently just in Colorado, and in the airport, what did I see? A rodeo sign. Where did I go? To the rodeo. The stadium was packed. You can do tons of vendors. We have a lot of local people in town who do own food trucks or are trying to start selling anything from tamales to hamburgers. That's a great opportunity for our town, for our locals to make money, as well as to bring more initiative into this town rather than just being the neighbors of Joshua Tree. With our national park, we can also bring something to us as well. We have the new aquatic center, which is fantastic. However, we should really channel our energy and our locals' energy into doing something that is to our town specifically, therefore with our history. And yeah, that's about it. I think that the rodeo is great. The tradition is great. We've had it for so many years. I grew up going to it. I know a lot of locals that are bummed about Grub Stakes now. So that would be a great thing to initiate back in. Therefore, we have more output of locals coming in, bringing family and friends. Thank you for your time.
Priscilla Buck.
Hi, everybody. I'm Priscilla Buck. Lived here since 2020. And I used to be actually a really big, huge, strong animal activist. I used to be really there for the animals, screaming, shouting, trying to say, hey, let's do right by the animals. And then I decided, let's step into horse rescue. I volunteered at horse rescue, actually a couple, for about a little bit over a year. And then I also volunteered at a cattle ranch. And I realized what makes this community what it used to be was the rodeo, was the horses. It was the bonding that these children were creating with these animals, that these people were creating with the animals. And I got my family involved with it. And my family all started taking lessons, and we started riding together. And I actually started gathering other people from this community to get involved with the horse rescues and with the animals. And I realized this rodeo isn't just about these children and them winning competitions and saying, look at me. It's about the community, it's about the family, it's about the people coming together and growing. It's about kids learning responsibility, learning what it is to be responsible for more than just themselves, learning to make adult choices. And it's also helping building character and building people up. So I realized everything that I was taught as an animal activist and everything that I believe wasn't really what it was. And I actually saw more animals that had loving, caring families that tried to do right by them by taking them to a rescue when they could no longer take care of them. And it wasn't for the animals on their own, it was because people get sick and all of that. But I saw more people loving and caring the animals and saying that they built memories with them, that they built a relationship with them, and that they made them part of their family. So I don't really have much to say other than that. But have a blessed day, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
I have Lori Portillo.
Portillo. My name is Lori Portillo, and I just want to say that having fun with horses has nothing to do with teaching them to ride around, to have people ride around and grab smaller animals and tie them up and drag them around while everybody's afraid. You can go out and ride horses, you can have wonderful communication and loving relationships with horses that do not involve torturing other small animals. And I'd really like to know if people that think it's okay would be okay with grown men getting on horses and running around and trussing up big dogs instead of small calves that they can't really relate to except as food. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then one more time for Becky Vowles or Scott Vowles. I think that's all my requests to speak.
We have
tonight.
anybody else wish to speak on this item? And do we have anybody online? We do not. Okay, we'll close public comment and bring it back to the council. No, we don't. That's public comment. It doesn't come back to the council. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, all of you, for your comments. Appreciate everybody participating tonight. And now we move on to staff reports and comments.
Staff reports and comments. Deborah, do you have anything this evening? Captain, any comments for the council this evening?
I do not. It has been, on knock on wood, it's been quiet for us. Nothing noteworthy call service-wise. I don't know if Faith is still here, but she is doing a bang-up job, taking a little bit of the load off of what our deputies are having to do, addressing encampments, and we have a good collaboration with her so far, so I appreciate that.
Frank shook his head no. Alex, any comments for the council this evening?
Not tonight, thank you.
Just want to make one comment this evening. Had questions earlier today, and then we had questions tonight on schedule for the aquatic center. Just want to mention a couple things. Number one, it's the biggest project the town's ever built. It's a $50 million budget when you look at total investment from preliminary steps all the way through construction. And there's two fundamental pillars in capital project management that we always talk about, or you'll always hear us mention: on time and on budget when you're delivering capital projects. In this project, there are a number of different players in that process, from the design engineers, the construction managers, the construction company, and the town. How do all those pieces fit together? And I just want to give you a couple of examples of how steps in a project can affect schedule. So one step, there was actually a delay in the project on the town's part. What was that delay? It's called the Western Joshua Tree. That was not in the original bid documents. We had to go through a permitting process with Fish and Wildlife to obtain those permits because that was not an obligation of the contractor. That's a town project delay. There have been a couple design issues that we may find were the responsibility of the design professionals that have caused a delay in the project. So that's not the contractor, that's not the town, but that's in the design process. Then there are questions that are raised in the construction plans. It can be at the outset, it can be at any time during the construction of the project. The contractor files an RFI, request for information. That has to go to the construction managers, the town team, the project managers. It has to go to the architect. The architect may have to change the plans. A sub-consultant to the architect, for example, the electrical engineer, may have to modify the plans. That takes time. So all of those things together affect the overall schedule for a project. This project is staying very close to the original schedule. When you think about a $50 million investment, and we're only talking about the difference between completing in May of '26 versus maybe October of '26, that's pretty close to keeping a $50 million project on schedule. The contractor has also caused some delays. In your contract, and Alex can tell you more about this if he wants to, we have a thing called liquidated damages, where if the contractor causes delays, it's $3,000 per day of delay caused by the contractor. And we've initiated those conversations verbally with the contractor in the process. So why do I mention all of these things? Just want to indicate to the council, timely delivery of this project is extremely critical to town staff. We want to keep it as close to that schedule as possible. We do want to keep it within budget, which it still is today, and it appears we're going to finish within budget. We also want the project correct. We don't want to cut corners. We don't want to push something faster than should be pushed and risk a mistake in that project construction. So we are committed to delivering this as quickly as possible, correctly, and within budget. Again, as we indicated earlier, as we have a better picture of that completion date, we'll continue to communicate that to the council. Those are our comments for this evening, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Shane. We'll bring it back to the council. Council member comments. Councilmember Dennison.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And Shane, thank you for the staff update on our ARC. It has been a challenge, I know, for our staff going through that, but working as a team with the contractor and SafeWorks and everyone else that we've been working with and hearing from, it's getting very close to the finish line. And you're always as tired as you can possibly be when you see the finish line right ahead of you. So don't fall down. We got this. And I'll keep it brief. I just want to say welcome to Faith. I had an opportunity to chat with her today about some of the services that she's starting to do within our community. And also the captain had made mention of the relationship with the Sheriff's Department. So I'm very proud of the progress already. But we have a lot of work to do there too. And Michaela at the shelter, we've kept on track with that. We are bringing on additional personnel all the time to improve the services to our animal division, and I'm very proud of that. We've made a lot of progress in the last year, and that's thankful for the community and all the work and guidance that they've given us and all the work that we've been doing on this end of it. And I'm very thankful for all the speakers tonight. That's really how our needle moves, our compass, and what the community feels is important. So I take notes always on everybody and your comments, because I go back and read it later, and I always appreciate reading the notes. Thanks.
Councilmember Droz.
First, I want to thank everyone for their opinions and comments. We can't make decisions without getting public input. Even though this is not on any future town council agenda at this time, we still appreciate your input, and that will be in our minds for the future if it does come up. As far as the YV ARC, yeah, that was my point. I think originally the completion date was supposed to be the fall, like October or something like that. And then it got moved up to early summer because they were ahead of schedule. So really, we're just pretty much where we started at the same date. So nothing's really changed from when they started it. Anyway, that's about it, and I hope everybody has a good month till we see you again. And thanks again for all your comments and input. Have a great evening.
Councilmember Lombardo.
I just want to say a thank you to the public. I came and spoke this evening. It's such a pleasure to see people express their views in a way that it doesn't tear apart and get crazy. We've seen so many examples of violence in our environment in the national discussions on things. It's a pleasure to have a community that is looking to solve the problems for the betterment of our community. And I think you all should be very proud of being part of that. Tonight, we had a wide variety of ideas and opinions that brought forth areas that I hadn't thought of, the tumbleweed problem and the invasive plants. I think it's worth looking into if there's something that we can do. I'm just very proud of the interaction that we have with our community. And I want to welcome Michaela and Faith to the employment of the town, and I'm looking forward to their contributions to making this even a better place to live. And thank you all. The 4th of July was outstanding, and I really think that was great. So we have a lot to be proud of in our community. And our pool is going to be phenomenal. I took a tour with the town manager and council member Schooler, and I think Dennison was there, and Droz too. We were all there. It was lovely, really lovely. I think you're all going to be thrilled with it. Thank you, and have a safe night. And
Okay, thank you. Well, again, thank you for everybody for the respectful exchange of comments this evening. Appreciate that. And we all do take notes, and we'll review them, and hopefully they'll be useful down the road. And as far as the YV ARC, the Aquatics and Recreation Center complex, we're so excited about that. And there's so many moving pieces over the years to get that planned and designed, and the right teams in place of project managers and designers and construction people. It's quite a project, and I'm sure the community is going to be really, really blessed to have that facility at their disposal. So whenever it opens, we'll just rest assured that we're taking all the right steps to get it ready and presented to you and staffed up appropriately. So with that, we will talk about the next council meeting, which I just changed the page. Next meeting of the Yucca Valley Town Council will be held on Tuesday, August 18th. It will be dark the first Tuesday in August. So August 18th, 2026 at 5 p.m. in the Yucca Valley Community Center Yucca Room. And with that, we will adjourn this meeting.